Hello, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Welcome back to UK Coin. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Washington Quarters and counting down the top 3 ultra-rare coins that every collector dreams of owning. Stay tuned for detailed history, rarity facts, and their jaw-dropping values. 1969 Washington Quarter. So here we have a 1969 Washington Quarter. This coin is part of the Washington Quarter series, which was first introduced in 1932 to honor the first U.S. President, George Washington. The design has remained largely unchanged over the years, except for some small tweaks. But what makes the 1969 version special? Well, let's take a closer look at its history and value. In 1969, the U.S. was experiencing a period of change, with major events such as the Apollo 11 moon landing and the Vietnam War making headlines. The 1969 quarter, like others in the series, was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The design features George Washington on the obverse, with the familiar eagle and E pluribus unum inscription on the reverse. Ooh, let's talk about the specifications. The 1969 Washington Quarter has a diameter of 24.3 m and weighs 6.25 grams. It's made of 90% silver and 10% copper, which gives it a nice, solid feel. But as we move into the more recent years, quarters like these were produced primarily for circulation, so they're not made of the same silver content as earlier versions. Now, let's get into the value. The 1969 Washington Quarter typically isn't worth a lot over face value unless you have a coin in really great condition or one with a special mint mark. For a standard 1969 quarter in average circulated condition, you're looking at about 25 to 50 cents. If it's in uncirculated or proof condition, it could go for a little more, usually around $2 to $5. But here's the real kicker. If you come across a 1969 SID D or a 1969 D minted in Denver in perfect condition, or even a rare era coin, it could be worth significantly more, potentially reaching prices in the tens of dollars or more. As you see, the SID the coin is incomparably common. Some collectors go crazy for era coins. If you find a 1969 quarter with a double die, or a 1969 quarter with a double die or any noticeable minting flaw, it could definitely reach a definitely high price. For example, the 1969 double die era could fetch hundreds of dollars depending on the quality and rarity of the mistake. So, how do you know if your 1969 quarter is worth more than face value? First, check the mint mark. It will be right below George Washington's neck, and you'll either see a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or none at all if it's from Philadelphia. Also, look at the coin's condition. Coins in mint condition with little to no wear are the ones that can bring in more money. In conclusion, while the 1969 Washington Quarter isn't necessarily rare or valuable in average condition, there are definitely opportunities to find something special. Whether it's an era coin or a piece in perfect condition, it's always worth checking your change or coin collection to see what you might have. 1980 Washington Quarter. The 1980 Washington Quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which was introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. The coin's design has remained largely the same since then, with the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, or front side. This portrait was created by sculptor John Flanagan, and it's one of the most recognizable coin designs in U.S. history. Above Washington's head, you'll see the word Liberty, and beneath the bust, there's the phrase "In God We Trust," which has been on U.S. coins since the 1860s. Of course, you'll also see the year 1980 on this side of the coin, marking when it was minted. Turning to the reverse, or back side, we see the image of an eagle in flight, which has been part of the Washington Quarter design since its inception. This eagle, designed by Frank Gasparo, is a symbol of strength and freedom, qualities that have been associated with the United States since its founding. Below the eagle, you'll find the words United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar, indicating that this is indeed a 25-cent coin. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1980 Washington Quarter. As with most coins, the value can vary depending on its condition, mint mark, and any unique features it might have. The base value of the 1980 Washington Quarter is 25 cents, its face value. However, the the actual market value can be higher if the coin is in better condition or if it has specific characteristics that are of interest to collectors. In circulated condition, the 1980 quarter is generally worth its face value of 25 cents. Coins that have been used in circulation often show signs of wear, like scratches, fading, or dullness. In fine or very fine condition, where the coin still retains most of its details but shows some wear, it might be worth around 50 cents to $1. If the coin is uncirculated, meaning it has never been used in circulation and has been carefully preserved, it could be worth more, typically $5 or more, depending on its condition. Uncirculated coins usually have sharper details and a more lustrous finish, making them more valuable to collectors. Special types of 1980 quarters, such as those with mint errors, can also be worth more. Errors might include things like double strikes, off-center coins, or other unusual features. If you find an error on your 1980 quarter, it could potentially increase its value significantly. Another important factor when determining the value of the 1980 Washington quarter is its mint mark. The U.S. Mint produces coins at different facilities, and each location uses a distinct mint mark to indicate where a coin was struck. The 1980 Washington quarter was minted at 3 different U.S. Mint locations. Philadelphia. This mint didn't use a mint mark, so you'll find no letter on these coins. Denver. The coins produced here have a D mint mark. San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, and these quarters have an S mint mark. Proof coins are specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish and sharper details. These proof quarters are often more valuable than the regular circulation quarters. If you happen to find a 1980 CH proof quarter, it could be worth more than a standard circulation coin. Proof coins are struck using a special process which gives them a smooth, shiny surface and deeper, more detailed designs. These are often the coins collectors seek out for their collections. 1965 Washington Quarter. The 1965 Washington Quarter still features the familiar design that was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. On the obverse side of the coin, we see a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington's profile is surrounded by the word Liberty at the top, with "In God We Trust" inscribed beneath his portrait. On the reverse side, we see an eagle in flight, designed by Frank Gasparo. This eagle has its wings spread wide, symbolizing freedom and strength. Below the eagle are the words United States of America, U Pluribus Unum, and $quarter, indicating the coin's denomination and the motto of the United States. However, one key difference with the 1965 Washington quarter is its composition. Prior to 1965, U.S. quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But in 1965, due to the rising cost of silver, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of quarters. Starting in 1965, the Washington quarter was struck with a clad composition, a core of pure copper nickel. This was done to reduce costs and prevent further coin shortages. Now let's talk about the value of the 1965 Washington quarter. Since the 1965 quarter is made of a copper nickel clad composition rather than silver, its value is not driven by the precious metal content as much as other quarters. Here's a breakdown of the potential value based on condition and other factors. In circulated condition, most 1965 Washington quarters are worth face value, 25 cents. These coins have been in circulation and show signs of wear, such as scratches or fading. In uncirculated condition, a 1965 Washington quarter that has been kept in pristine condition and never used in circulation could be worth anywhere from $1 to $5 depending on its grade. Uncirculated coins often have sharp details and are free from wear. Proof coins. The U.S. Mint also issued proof sets during this time, including proof 1965 Washington quarters. These coins were specially made for collectors and have a shiny mirror-like finish. A proof 1965 Washington quarter can be worth $10 to $20 or more, depending on its condition or rarity. The 1965 Washington quarter is not particularly rare, but its historical significance, particularly due to the shift in metal composition, can make it more valuable to certain collectors. The 1965 Washington quarter was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, there's an interesting thing to note. 1965 quarters from Philadelphia did not have a mint mark. Quarters from Denver have a D mint mark, and those from San Francisco have an S mint mark. Despite the mint marks, the 1965 quarter is considered a relatively common coin, and you're not likely to find one with significant premium value unless it's in uncirculated or proof condition, or there are unusual mint errors. To understand the significance of the 1965 Washington quarter, it's important to know the historical context in which it was created. The 1960s saw rising inflation and a growing cost of silver. In 1965, after much debate, the US government decided to remove silver from most of the country's coinage to reduce production costs. This led to the creation of the 1965 clad coinage. Quarters, dimes, and half dollars were all struck using a copper-nickel clad composition instead of pure silver. This move made coins less costly to produce, but it also marked the end of silver coinage in everyday circulation. The change in composition was so significant that the 1965 quarter is sometimes seen as a transitional coin. The decision to move away from silver altered the appearance, weight, and value of US coins, and for collectors, this makes the 1965 quarter an interesting piece of history, even though it doesn't have the precious metal value of earlier quarters.